The road to the NFL officially kicked into high gear this week as the 2026 NFL Combine got underway in Indianapolis, and once again, the spotlight was firmly fixed on Lucas Oil Stadium. More than 300 of the nation's top former college football players arrived in the city with one goal in mind: proving they belong at the next level. For several days, coaches, scouts, general managers, and front office decision-makers from across the league packed the building, watching every rep, timing every sprint, and measuring every inch as the prospects worked to boost their draft stock ahead of the 2026 NFL Draft later this spring. Saturday was a big day for skill position players, particularly wide receivers and running backs, who stepped onto the field after spending the previous day answering questions from the media at the Indianapolis Convention Center. While there were no offensive linemen representing Ohio State Buckeyes at this year's Combine, Buckeye fans still had plenty to pay attention to thanks to two familiar names: wide receiver Carnell Tate and running back C.J. Donaldson. Both players went through official measurements and workouts, offering NFL evaluators a clearer picture of what they bring physically to the table. Let's start with Carnell Tate, who continues the long tradition of elite wide receivers coming out of Ohio State. Tate measured in at just over 6'3" and weighed 192 pounds, nearly identical to his listed size during his final season in Columbus. His arm length came in just under 32 inches, while his hand size measured over 10 inches, numbers that are right in line with what NFL teams typically like to see from an outside receiver who can win contested catches and create separation downfield. From a physical standpoint, Tate checked the boxes, but his journey to this moment tells an even bigger story. Coming out of high school, Tate was one of the most highly regarded prospects in the country, a five-star recruit from IMG Academy who joined Ohio State's loaded 2023 recruiting class. Like many receivers before him in Columbus, Tate didn't walk into immediate stardom. Instead, he had to wait behind established names, learning the system and developing his game while sharing a receiver room with future NFL talents such as Marvin Harrison Jr., Julian Fleming, and Emeka Egbuka. Even so, Tate still managed to see the field in every game as a freshman, quietly laying the foundation for what was to come. By his sophomore season, Tate's role expanded significantly. He earned a starting spot alongside Egbuka and a highly touted freshman, becoming a reliable option in Ohio State's passing attack. When Egbuka moved on after the 2024 season, Tate stepped into an even bigger role and made the most of it. Over the course of his Buckeye career, he totaled 121 receptions for 1,872 yards and 14 touchdowns, numbers that reflect both consistency and big play ability. At the Combine, Tate spoke confidently about his development, his patience early in his career, and how competing in a crowded receiver room prepared him for the demands of the NFL. On the running back side, C.J. Donaldson brought a very different body type and skill set to Indianapolis. Donaldson measured in at 6'2" and 230 pounds, making him one of the more physically imposing backs in this year's class. His arm length came in just over 31 inches, and his hands measured just under 9.5 inches, solid numbers for a power back who thrives in short yardage and goal line situations. Donaldson's size alone immediately stands out, and it's one of the reasons NFL teams continue to view him as an intriguing prospect despite a quieter final season statistically. Donaldson's college path wasn't a straight line. Before arriving at Ohio State, he spent the early part of his career at West Virginia Mountaineers, where he quickly established himself as a productive runner. In each of his first two seasons, he rushed for more than 730 yards, showcasing a blend of strength, downhill running, and surprising athleticism for a player his size. Those performances made him a notable name in the transfer portal, and Ohio State brought him in ahead of the 2025 season to bolster its backfield. While his lone year in Columbus didn't produce eye-popping rushing totals, Donaldson still played an important role. He finished the season with 361 rushing yards, but his true value came in short yardage situations, where he once again reached double-digit touchdowns. Ohio State often leaned on him near the goal line, trusting his power and balance to punch the ball into the end zone. When you zoom out and look at his entire college career, Donaldson leaves the game with 2,419 rushing yards and an impressive 40 touchdowns on 517 carries, production that speaks to his nose for the end zone. For both Tate and Donaldson, the Combine represents more than just numbers on a stat sheet or measurements on a clipboard. It's a chance to sit face-to-face with NFL decision-makers, explain their journey, and show how they fit into a professional locker room. The interviews, the workouts, and even the weigh-ins all matter, especially in a draft class where small differences can separate a second-round pick from a fourth-round selection. As Ohio State looks ahead to the future, including recruiting battles, transfer portal moves, and another push toward national relevance, Tate and Donaldson now turn the page to the next chapter of their football lives. Whether they hear their names called early or have to grind their way onto a roster, both players have shown resilience, adaptability, and a willingness to embrace their roles, traits that NFL teams value just as much as raw athletic ability. And if you're a Buckeye fan, an NFL draft junkie, or just someone who loves following the journey from college football to the pros, make sure you're locked in right here. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Carnell Tate and CJ Donaldson at the NFL Combine, smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel for more in-depth college football and NFL draft coverage all offseason long. We've got plenty more coming, and you won't want to miss it.